Hello everyone, welcome back. Tonight, I kind of want to go and dive back into my source generator project that we started on. I'm aware that my PR on the material design one I never got back to fixing, but tonight I've had a week where things just keep coming at me, and frankly, building source generator sounds relaxing. I don't know why that is. We're going to build some source generators because source generation is cool. So, for anybody who hasn't caught the last couple of streams, I have this idea in my head that source generators are and analyzers in general for C# and .NET are fairly cool and powerful. The difficulty is that most of the time, if you want to do something simple with a source generator, it's kind of hard. They're kind of complicated because you have the power of the C# compiler at your fingertips, which is cool. But I think a lot of times what people want out of a source generator is a lot more simplistic. This library isn't going to replace the full complexity of what you can do with source generators. At some point, you will need to just use the regular Roslyn APIs. However, I think that there is a target use case where there is some common patterns that I've seen people want to do that I think I can codify and make the API a lot simpler to use. So that's the game plan, trying to make a simpler API where people don't have to think nearly as much about the complications of source generators and can focus more on what they want. Izzy, welcome in. Welcome in. It is good to have you. Hopefully your stuff is going well. You're getting your things set up. For people who didn't catch our prior Enigma streams, Izzy is threatening to do more of them, which will be great. So that's exciting. That is exciting. And tonight, you know how busy my week's been when I'm leading with coffee, or as I call it, liquid dirt. But it comes loaded with caffeine. But don't panic. We got the dew sitting right here as well. So we're gonna dual fist it tonight. We got one for the Mountain Dew, one for the coffee. Rock and roll. We're also gonna go a little crazy. We're gonna go real crazy tonight. So, ooh, what was that? That was weird. I don't know what I have open there. So let's close some stuff down. I don't quite know. I don't know what I have open on this monitor. So we're just gonna close it all down until I realize. Okay, so first thing I'm gonna call out. As a Microsoft MVP, I've been given access to Canary builds of Visual Studio. So for people who run Insiders builds and are used to around the Tuesday, Wednesday timeframe seeing an update every week, think of that, only have it be daily. So yeah, it's the fast rung and things break. And last week I tried to run Canary and it just kept hanging and dying on me. But we've installed like 3 updates since then, so we're going to see. We're going to see. I have not used it for any serious development yet. But I opened it and I compiled and it didn't die. So I took that as a sign of success. So where we got to last time, or at least where I was poking at, is we were working on refactoring down. We have this source generator where we want to be able to have something of this nature where we're kind of, as a proof of concept, re-implementing some of what is in the community toolkit MVVM. Right? And so we've got this source generator we've built out, but we want to be able to have this concept of having some back and forth. Ooh, day of hospital gowns today, so hopefully I will have some sort of plan. Izzy, that doesn't sound good. Normally hospitals, you should be focusing on why ever they have you in the gown. Hopefully it's nothing too serious. What the idea being here with this notify property change generator, if the class name doesn't end with foo, we want to be able to add it using, we want to be able to have it add the I notify property changed event handler and build all of that out for us. That's the gameplay. Excuse me, I think I'm allergic to code, or at least I'm allergic to compiler or something. One of the two. I don't know exactly which one it is, but it's probably in there. So, fairly simple, fairly straightforward, but we have now broken a handful of things because we had both of the generators running, and because I had the class attribute generator, but then I refactored them both down into this attribute generator because there was a ton of code that was just common between the two that I wanted to keep in place. It's a day off work where I'm allowed to stay in bed and be waited. I don't know. Is it that the times where I've been in hospital gowns, I don't know if it was allowed to stay in bed. I believe it was they required me to stay there and they were actively encouraging me not to get up. Do take care of yourself. I recommend listening to the doctors. Um, so we've got this guy in here, and I need to look at which of these things is failing to generate properly. So if we go here and analyzers, and we look at this guy down here, and we look at this gen and this gen, which, okay, so they both genned out. So view model generated, that seems fine. This one didn't do a thing. Exactly. So armed with my laptop, I won't need to get up. I mean, that is the positive way to look at it, right? I just the number of times I have been in a hospital and tried to bring my laptop to get work done, they constantly kept interrupting me. It was something about, little things like we need to, check your blood pressure. We need to do this test. It's like, do you not understand? I'm trying to type here. You're really interfering with the typing ability. Okay, so the property changed one is the one that's biting me. And this guy here, and I'm trying to remember exactly what I was doing. Oh, it's broken because I did this. This is where, okay, now I remember where I left off. Okay, so the problem being is I know what API I want. I want my context to look like this. I'm just trying to figure out how to make my API look like this and my API look like this and have it work properly. So I kind of implemented this generation result of success versus skip. That way there's a way for the generators themselves to do some logic and bail if they want to, right? Just as long as I can, I assume, tether to my mobile, I'll be fine. Yeah, thankfully, I will say this, the hospital that my son was in, most of the rooms, there was one particular tower in it that had like no reception. But but most of the hospital actually had decent high-speed internet, which was nice. That part was nice. But there was one tower that it was just like it's weird because the hospital in my city, or at least one of them, is kind of built on the side of a hill. So it's kind of one of those weird things where you're like, are you at ground level? It's like, well, it kind of depends. Which side are you on? Like, because ground level is 2 floors difference depending on which end you come in from. So that made it fun. Okay. And so with these contexts themselves are the ones that are pushing everything in. And the question was, how do we want to go through and build this up, right? Like that is the premise of these context ones. And I think I have to put basically the idea was some things are obviously going to live at a top-ish level. And I feel like I'm already kind of painting myself a little bit into a corner by virtue of all of these things are built to write one output file. That might not be a bad thing, but I can see a use case where I may want to write multiple. So I'm already wondering if my API is kind of sucky and might need to be adjusted. Our hospital's like that. The front and ground floor is pretty much the penthouse at the back. Nice. Yeah, so I'm thinking this whole structure might need to change a little bit. Like, because the thing is I want to have the ability to say add item to current, and I want to be able to say add extra items. And I think I've gotten myself wrapped around the axle a little bit because the way I've used this generation context. The context has both the namespace in the current information about it, because like the generation property context, and I'm going to just delete this so the thing compiles again, because this should now compile properly. Aside from the nullable thingies. But he derives from a class context, and the thing is they all contain data about the current thing, but then they all have this other stuff. And I'm thinking this is probably not what I want to do. I'm thinking what I want to do is change up how these things work. So I think what I actually probably want to do is not necessarily have the context hold on to these things, but the context to be able to hold on to some sort of like generation output. And I think that's probably a better way of doing this, right? So let's spec something real quick. So I think what I want to do is something more like this: public class generation output. And I think this stuff here is really what I want up in this generation output. And I think what I want to do is I think I want to let this thing be able to exist. And then if nothing gets added to it, nothing gets generated. I think is the easiest way of going through and doing this. All right. And then this generation context will be something more along the lines of public void add generated output, generation output, something of that nature, right? It's going to be something somewhat simple. Then we'll do private read-only list, something of that nature. And then I could do internal generated output, something of that nature. And then this thing can be very simple. Boom. And I think what I want to have is something also along the lines of public generation output from current. I think is what I want. And I want this to be virtual, because I want this thing to be able to we'll do something with it here in a minute. Or maybe we'll just do return new. That's probably good enough. But I want it to be able to, like, in this case, I want it to know about its namespace. I want it to know about those types of informations so that it could be changed if needed, right? So public string namespace. And I realize this looks remarkably similar to the other one, but I think the difference is going to be this one's going to be mutable, whereas this context will be immutable. So I think that's the kicker here. Namespace gets namespace, and I think this will probably make my life a lot easier. I'm thinking. Okay, so that's generation there, generation class context. So here we are going to override wait, why can you not find generation context? Oh, wait a minute. Whoa. Who did bad things? Let's see. Public string class name get set, right? And that goes there. And then generation class context, we're going to override from current we're going to go return value. Let's see, RV class name gets class name, return RV, something of that nature. That way it gets built up. And then I think we're going to move this writing stuff out of here. I think I'm already liking this better. Because I don't think I ever want anything tighter than this. I don't think I do, at least. Let's move here. Let's move you into your own file. Move to generated output, or generation output. Okay, that all goes there. That goes like that. That goes there. So then the generation context has these outputs. And the color here. See, this is output result generation code. Get output hit name, item write output. I don't think this is what we want here. For each, because this is where I think I actually want multiple outputs. And actually, the output should probably be able to have their own hint name. Where was that done? That was left to the... This guy was set to an abstract member. I think we're going to leave it like that for now. But I need something about the hint name. All right, one moment. There is something ripping my allergies apart tonight. Oh boy. Ugh. Oh, sorry. Thank you. Thank you, Izzy. I think I'm clearly allergic to something. Ooh, something in the air, especially. Okay, so generated outputs. And I think this is going to be the kicker here, is we are going to, for each generated output, does this thing allow me to return more than one thing? Can I yield return this guy? Is that a thing, or does it really want me to just do one thing at a time? It just wants one thing at a time. Okay, so this guy here is going to need to hold more than one thing. Generated items. Oh, no, don't do that. No, don't do that. Don't do that. Okay, so we'll need to add things together. Register source output. Actually, can we just do select many? That might be better. Because now we could generate out multiple things. Right? Because now it wants an immutable array of T result. Generation output result. Trying to remember how it's been a while since I've used this immutable array. Let's see. Can I add items to it, or how does this work? Do I need to There. So we can just add the items in. Generation output results. Generated code. That gets me there. That gets me there. That gets me there. That goes away. That goes away. And then at the end of this for each, return RV. Done, done, done. Let's see. Immutable array. Empty. Now we do something of that nature. This is all the generated outputs. Grab these, grab these. Grab each of those outputs there. That's fine. Let's see. I'm gonna change this to output item, and now we just have to build them out. Let's see. Big decision. Should I take the 64 gigs of RAM, 1 terabyte SSD i9, the 64 gigs of RAM, dual 4 terabyte SSD i9 Ultra laptop? Important info. I'm traveling on public transport and it's already 30 degrees Celsius and around 42 degrees humid. Oh boy. So it really comes down to which, like, how much storage do you need and that i9. I'm guessing that the 1 terabyte SSD Core i9 probably runs cooler. I mean, are you doing anything that requires juice? Might be the kicker there. Okay, and then the output items, I think we can just do output item, right, output, and then this guy here becomes less of an issue, generation output, and I just need a write output method, introduce method there, and we can mark that off there. I am assuming you want the collection initializer there. That goes nicely. That goes well. Okay. What is your problem? Gets an empty... Oh, do you want to just collection expression it? Okay. Great. Okay. We can collection expression it. Okay, so this guy here now ends up being the question of if... Would you ever need to generate just using statements? No. So if... Let's see. Class members count equals 0. Let's see. And namespace members count equals 0. Early return. That's an easy one. And then I think what we do here is we just iterate through them, fairly similar to what we were doing already in the context class. Because this guy here was already doing some of this. But I think we're going to change it up and just do it all in line. So, where were you being invoked from? So you were being invoked first, so we're just going to do that. Ding, 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 ding. I think the i9 Ultra actually runs cooler for me, but it's heavier and bulkier. Oh. Still tempted to tell you to go with whichever one runs cooler would be my default setting, I think. So your right namespace. We're going to end up doing this maneuver. Right namespace members. Going to do this maneuver. If class members dot count greater than 0, we will write out And class name is not null. I think we can get rid of that check because that's stupid. We can get rid of that check and that check because we really don't want to do this otherwise. Okay, so I think that goes all like that. That goes all like that. That works, that works, that works. I'm liking the way this is already shaping up. I'm already liking this. Okay, so we're going to burn these to the ground. And then we're going to get rid of all of these. That will clean that up. That will clean that up. Class context. None of these matter. Property context. None of these matter. None of these matter. And this now becomes nice and pretty. Let's see. And there's still no Copilot available until next week as GPT-5 Mini I refuse to use. It just keeps breaking stuff and acting like my 8-year-old. Yeah, that is fair. The one thing that is worth trying, GPT, there is a, where is it? You can try and run they had a beast mode. I'm looking to see if I can find it. They had initially done it as a custom agent, just to try to get as much out of like a GPT 4.0 mini or a 4.1. It's basically just fancy prompting in front of it. It may or may not do much for you. I can't seem to find it right now. I think the awesome Copilot repository has it. Let's see. Text. Let's go with from current. Let's see. Let's see. Output. No, I don't want that. Use explicit type. Okay, so now this becomes output add using. Output add namespace member. That just works. And then context add output. I kind of just want to call this add output. Add generated output seems overkill. We're inside of a generator. I'm wondering if from current should also just automatically add. I'm thinking that would be nicer. Thinking that might be a little bit nicer, and then I don't need to call this. I could just do that, and it just works. And it just works. It is a little interesting that I do wonder if I still need this generation result anymore, or if just the lack of adding any output would be sufficient. It might be that I can obsolete this generation result now. But we will do that in a moment. Let's keep going here. So this becomes var output equals context from current, and then output add class member. And actually, I guess we can just do this. Output. Ba-ba-bum, ba-ba-bum. There we go, there we go, there we go. What doesn't compile now? So I am thinking that rather than doing what I was doing. Okay, so that didn't work. Something has fallen over. go here. So this guy here comes into generate on item. I mean, the success is still being checked here, but so I guess it is somewhat helpful to have. But and I'm also aware to do linked hint names, because that's a problem. We'll need to fix that. Let's rebuild this guy and then rebuild this guy and then look at his generation. Yeah, I understand you're unhappy. I get that. But why are you unhappy? Generated no files. Generate. Go to implementation. Context from current. From current adds it to the list of outputs. Generated outputs. Yeah, that's what we expect. Add using add namespace. These are literal copies from what we had before. If class members is null and namespace members, I think we'll probably switch this to just be properties entirely. Checks the namespace. If the namespace is not null, writes something out. Does all of this stuff to the string builder. What am I missing? What am I missing? Is generated outputs not being hit? This guy here. I'll put hidden name. Let me just check and make sure I'm not. Yep, nothing there. Okay, so let's, debugger launch, I think, because I don't see it. And this will, even if, because this is what was killing Visual Studio last time. So even if this crashes and hangs, this at least gives me a, let's see here. It wants to open a different instance of Visual Studio, so be it. So we do have generated outputs of 1. String builder, like this has a bunch of stuff in it. RV, new output. So like this, wait. Oh, it's an immutable array. Calling add on an immutable array doesn't do it. Okay, I'm an idiot. Okay, yeah. Shut up. It's immutable. I get it. The hint was in the name. Right. Okay, stop. Okay. I'm trying to remember. I think with an immutable array. Yes. I understand you're unhappy. Stop with the compile warnings. I get it. You're unhappy. What was the on my other screen? I'm getting spammed with debugger launches. What was the trying to remember the API for working with immutable array? Let's see. Collapse enumerator object. What is I thought Is it just... Is it just a constructor? Is that the kicker? So is it... is it a static? Builder. I assume this is it. Oh, is that it? Create builder. Ah. And then this guy. I assume that is the kicker. Okay. Okay, let's try this again. And then we build here. And then we build here. Okay. That is better because it outputted something and just failed to be helpful. What was the error on that? Where'd it go? Where'd my error list go? Missing partial declaration. I have conflicting accessibility modifiers. So it just generated poorly. Why is that the case? Oh, because I put the word public on this. Let's try this again. It should not assume accessibility modifiers. That should be for the other one to do. Okay. Missing partial, which means I have made the same mistake. Okay, so let's go around here again, build this up. Build this up. Build this up, and it should just work now. Huzzah! There we go. Okay. I like this better. That's cleaner. That's cleaner. The output looks as I expect. Okay. Excellent. Okay. Commit, 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 commit. Immediately commit. It's working. Save. Save point. Save point. Kraken. Write me a commit message. I'm thinking hard, and I don't want to be thinking about my commit messages. Make it so. There you go. Good Kraken. Okay. Let's see. Push. Let's just squash these together. Squash two commits. Yep. And then I'm going to take main, and I'm going to just fast forward main to here, push it, call it good. There we go. Okay. And we ship, and we delete our whip. Goodbye, whip. Goodbye, local whip. Okay. Okay. That's better. That's better. That's better. Yep. 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 I know. I reset you. Yeah. I understand. You're unhappy. Deal with it. Deal with it. Deal with it. Deal with it. Okay. So now the question is where to go next. Do I want to do multi outputs? That's probably a good next step. It's probably also a good idea to do some level of testing inside of here. Because rather than just this sample app, I do think I want to actually get some full tests going. Let me go here because the AutoMocker library has a good setup for this. Whoop. There's a Dependabot one out there. Hang on, real quick. Remotes. View on GitHub. And then let's go look at the PR. Why did this not merge? We might be getting a little distracted. Oh, this guy is just... Whoa. Wired status check build is expected. Is this thing just running without... Hang on. We might answer this. We might kill two birds with one stone here real quick. Is this thing not waiting for build before it tries to auto approve? Needs build. Is there something I'm missing? Let me just quickly check the docs on this guy. We're gonna just quickly check the docs on this guy. Duplicate and paste. Sometimes they change the API on this guy and yeah, samples. Needs build, runs on like this. Looks like exactly what I have. I mean, I'm limiting it to if pull requests. So that's the only difference. Let's see. No, auto merge. Workflow dispatch. We are on V3, right? Is there a reason I did that? I don't think there was. Why did I tie it down to a specific version? Is there something weird about 3.15 is the latest? And it was just last week. Wonder if something has gone wrong. Regardless, we're just gonna the build passed, so we are just going to bypass this and squash. Because the important part of that thing worked. Okay, so kill that, all that distraction, pull, give me the new thing, thank you. Ooh, I need to go back and look at that one at some point. Okay, so this guy here has a reasonable setup for testing generators with snapshots, and I think I want to steal it. I mean, borrow with no intent of return. Because this shows the generated output. So this guy here, let's start with this. We don't need most of this, but you do need this. So that's okay. So we're gonna put you to the side. We're gonna go here. Let's see, and we are going to manage NuGet packages. Let's see. Oh, interesting. This package is deprecated. Use the other one. Oh, so I should get that one off of there and down. Oh, shoot. While we're here, let's just check and see what else we have that's flagged as deprecated, because clearly we've got at least one deprecated package. What do we have? Is that the only deprecated thingy mabobber? Looks like it. Okay. Well, while we're here, let's just change it up to this. And we're going to put it here instead. Install that. Yep. Apply. Yep. Do the needful. And then we are going to come in here. Get rid of that specific one. Uh, the NuGet solution thing is sometimes a pain in the neck. 114. Let's see. Drop that. 114. Build. Do the needful, please. Okay. Gets me there. Look at that. Compiles. What else we got that shows as an update? Yep. Yeah. See, the problem is, NuGet, you are not being helpful, so you got downgraded. Let's see. Diagnostic testing goes to 7. There. Bump you up. Gonna refresh on me and make me do this over. Let's see. Logging abstractions. And options goes from 1008 to 1009. 9. 9. That fills those two out. In theory, this guy works here. Let's just bump all those up. Because in theory, it should just, yeah, that's what I was worried about. Is occasionally it gets itself all wrapped around the axle. Test SDK goes to 18.7. One of the disadvantages of the way some of these source generators, NuGet packages work is the dependency tree is kind of annoying. Let's see, open telemetry 116. Do that. And then TUnit was the last one, which that one should update nicely. Essentially defined 108. What is going on? Do I have a 1008 in here? I think it was that one going through the error list. Diagnostic source was the other one. I don't think I need the ASN version anymore. That was a pin transitive dependency to deal with a security vulnerability, but from 109, login abstractions, diagnostic source, system diagnostic source 1008. Am I blind or stupid? 10.0.8. Where are you? You don't exist. Great. Okay. Let's full rebuild you. Open telemetry to centrally defined 115. Okay, let's try that again. There. Okay. Now, TUnit, you should update nicely now that the rest of the people are happy. Okay. Okay. That looks nicer. Okay, run all tests, and if this goes green, we're just gonna send it. The nice part is these auto mocker tests run very, very fast. Great. Full green. So we're just gonna, let's see, dependency update, there, packages, and then fix that. There we go. Gen thing, push dependency, send it, and then Create pull request and open on GitHub. Just the technical term, enable auto merge, enable auto merge. Great, great, great. Send it, send it, send it. Okay. So all of that to say, I want to steal this guy's setup, which this is obviously the setup here that we need. We're going to go here, go manage NuGet packages for this guy. We already installed this one. Don't know that we did. Install the package, do the needful. Let's see here. What is your problem? So let's back up here. Manage NuGet package for solutions. I'm guessing I've got some out-of-date packages. Yeah. Okay, let's start with the TUnit ones. Those are the easy ones. Yeah, update all the things. Do them together. And then we should be able to get the one that we care about. There we go. Now we do this package. Now we can grab the latest one. Browse. This guy goes here. And we come down here and we want to do it on our so little screen real estate. SDK tests. It would be nice to get some better tests in place. Okay, so what is your problem here? Microsoft Code Analysis Common 5.3. SDK tests. Source generator testing 1.1.4. Code analysis. C# workspace. Oh, so does this one... This one must be pinning code analysis up. Yeah, so this one's pinning code analysis higher up so that it doesn't bite me. Show, let's do that to code analysis there. That will keep that pinned high enough up. And now this one should not have that dependency. Did I pin C# workspaces? Why is this giving me crap? I feel like I'm missing something in here. Back to here. Your version, Microsoft Central Package Transitive Pinning is disabled. A package version for code analysis common to 5.3. I'm a little... I mean, it's nice that it's giving me the exact thing that it needs to resolve it. I'm just confused as to the ordering. Okay, well, at least it told me exactly what I needed to do. Okay, not entirely clear why pinning the top level one. I wonder if there's been a change in the package ordering. Okay. Railroading time. Have you ever used SVN to Git? Yes. Oh, unfortunately, yes. It has been a little while. But I used to many years ago. This was like a decade ago, Izzy. Because when I first started out, I didn't learn Git. I learned SVN. And it took a while because SVN was much simpler than Git in a lot of ways. And I actually ran my own, what was it? I think it was Visual SVN. I had running on just a little Windows home server locally. And eventually, once I learned Git, I was like, no, I'm moving all of my stuff off of my local little SVN server and onto GitHub. And so I ran, I think that's the tool, because that's the little command line tool that shims the two things together, isn't it? Yeah. Because I assume this is what you're talking about, this guy. Because it's a Ruby thingy, a Ruby gem. I don't remember if it was a Ruby gen or not. But yes, I have used this, and it is interesting. And I will say, the only time I felt like I needed it was on the, because I had a handful of repos with a bunch of branches that I wanted to hold on to, and that was the only reason. Otherwise, I think the easier thing, if you don't care about history, you just get init and push. Um, let's see. I just started doing a POC for using Git at work. Just did the first repo, and it has done something strange. Uh-oh. What is something strange? Because there is a handful, like there's some concepts that just don't translate between the two because there's legitimately not equivalence, which kind of makes sense. Like I get it, right? Like that is what I, in many ways, what I expect, but it is definitely one of those. It is a best effort approach. But yeah, it has been, I think, a decade or more since I've actually used it. Actually, it's been more than a decade because I did it shortly after starting at Olive Tree. I'd have to go check my resume. That might be 15 years ago. Let's see. In the DevOps commit tab, it somewhat looks okay, but Git Kraken shows all branches with no merge revisions. They seem to be duplicated on every branch. Ooh, that is weird. You might run a what is it? Git GC, is it Git GC? There just wants to launch. Very much like a railroad. Yeah, you might try running a Git GC on your local repository because the difference being is Git Kraken is going to see your entire local ref log, whereas DevOps won't. DevOps only going to see the commits that get pushed. And I'm wondering if there is something local in the ref log. Just out of curiosity, do you see the same thing in Git Kraken on a fresh clone of the repository? Because I'm curious if you do a fresh clone of the repository from DevOps, if it looks clean as well. That would be another way to check. If it looks clean on a fresh clone, then it's going to be something local with your ref log or otherwise. And something like a Git GC could help. But it could also be if it still looks bad. Indeed, I do. Oh boy, I might need context. Indeed, you do see the duplications on a fresh clone. Same railroad. Might need more context, Izzy. Because I'm not entirely. But Gitkraken shows all branches with no merge revisions. They seem to be duplicated on every branch. They, where's their API on this sucker? I thought there was a, there we go. Yeah, you may. It may be interesting to know a little bit more about what the structure of your SVN repository is as well. Because I do wonder if some of these may end up being if it's not just the standard SVN defaults, if there's any differences. Yeah, no trunk, no branches, no tags. Yeah, might be interesting. It'd be curious. I'd be curious to know a little more about the SVN repository as well, of what it has. Sorry, slow typing. So tried to do short burst. I'm seeing the same duplicated revisions on all branches in a fresh clone. Okay. Okay, all branches. I'm wondering if the branch. I'm. I might tell you to check your SVN setup. I wonder if the branches path isn't default, and by default meaning under branches, or maybe the same thing with tags. SVN format is default with trunk, tags, and branches root folders. Oh, interesting. Okay. Well, that doesn't help. No tags or branches. That is not helpful. I may not have a good answer for you. Um, work on WSL. If this is and branches can have unpleasant consequences. I just love it. It recommends this tool. I'm thinking that someone might want to find it on. It's not helpful. Let's see. What it looks like it did was run through each branch and converted the SVN logs into Git logs. That is very probable. Yeah. Back down here. Minimize. Each branch, I think, may have created a different commit for the same revision on each branch. Ugh. I might tell you to go through and try it with like the dash dash verbose just to see if there's any hints in its output. Or even the dash dash metadata could be interesting as well. It was just strange as DevOps seemed to display things correctly, but Git Kraken didn't. Yeah, I'm not. DevOps, I am a bit surprised that it would display it nicely in, but I also don't trust it as much on its display, so do that with a grain of salt. Kraken, I trust a heck of a lot more. I mean, you could always hit it with the CLI, but I would be shocked if the CLI displayed anything different than what Kraken did. Yeah, I think those would be the only two things I would tell you is try it with dash dash verbose and then try it with dash dash metadata to see if getting the SVN ID or the extra logging gives any hints as to what's going on. Because that might help with clues in there. But beyond that, I do not know. I said it's been over a decade since I played with this. And at least at the time, like I'm trying to remember now, I vaguely recall having to go through and do some cleanup after I ran this on a handful of my repositories because it was really I just didn't want to lose some of my history. Um, and that, but I vaguely recall having to go through and do some cleanup on it afterwards. What was the so get GC? It's this is I was about to send you this URL. That's not going to work. But yeah, you can run get GC just to see. The thing is, if it's showing up on a fresh clone, I kind of doubt that that's going to do much for you because this runs on your local Git database, right? Packing refs, pruning the ref log. I like it, maybe, but this is kind of like forcing garbage collection in .NET. Like, it's not likely to fix a problem, but it can certainly clean up a dirty one. Like, maybe, but if you're saying it's still showing up on a fresh clone, it sounds like there's actual commits there. And I agree, it is kind of weird that DevOps would have displayed it. That part is definitely on the weird side of the fence. Okay, we're going to delete that. Back here, come back here. What are you unhappy about here? Source generation testing. So let's build this again and see what is. I thought it said it was happy, but I am going to unload, reload, and just make sure that what is your problem here? Why are you showing C# 5.3? Yeah. Detected package, so why is my other one not requiring these extra? Okay, is that like it's building? I'm just curious as to why it still shows me the yellow triangle there. Let's see. Unload, reload. Are you happier now? There, you are happier now. Okay. Interesting. That is just bizarre. Okay. Well, we got that. Now, back to what I actually wanted to be doing, writing a test. So the whole point in doing this is that testing library allows us to do stuff like this, where we are able to easily run our generators against some test code to see what the output is going to be. Right, so this gives us an easy mechanism for doing this. We can look in here. So this guy is, where do I keep him? This guy lives down here and does the needful for source generator verifier. So, trying to think of why I did it this way. See, I might try to follow the refs to see if I can understand both local repos. Fair migration and clean checkout. Hopefully I can spot something obvious. Yeah, that is probably a good place to start. I think we just grab this. There is a new project template for doing source generator tests, but I think we're going to build this kind of by hand. And let's start with this. Change namespace to match folder structure. We're not going to do any of that garbage. Let's see. This is fine. This is fine. Reference fake logging. I don't think I need any of these, because I don't need to add any compilation options to any of my thingy-mabobbers. So I don't know that I need to even override this method. There we go there. Most of this is going to be default. Most of this is going to be default. We are going to collection initializer all the things. Make you smaller. Let's see here. Okay, that all seems fine. Put you down here. Put you down here. Okay, so that gets me that. And then we want to do something of this nature, but we're going to do it in the TUnity way. So let's go with this. We want to test. Let's do the generation property attribute generator. Class attribute generator. Let's do property output generator. Let's see. Property output generator. Yes. Collapse that. Public that. Paste. And then you're going to be unhappy for a minute. I get it. Hold on. I'm fixing it. I'm fixing it. Okay. Verify CS. Let's see. Was there a using statement? Is that what I'm missing up above? Yeah. So it's doing that garbage at the beginning. Verify CS, and this is going to end up being this guy instead. Switch to him, and then this is, we need the right generator on this. This is going to be, we say, properties, property output generator. Why is that not matching? Are you not, what? Huh? Property attribute generator. Oh, because this guy is derived. This is going to make it interesting. Okay. So private class test generator needs to derive for property output generator. Already output generator test. Let's see. Test. Property test attribute. Okay, so why are you not finding the thingy? Using Kaboo, Source Weaver, SDK. Not crazy, right? Am I just bad at spelling? I'm just bad at spelling. Okay, so then I need private class property test attribute. I don't really care what it is. We'll seal it. We'll single line it. Okay. This guy here needs to implement abstract member. Come on. Oh, it is putting it on the other screen. Lovely. Okay. So now the verify CS bit that I was fighting with is going to be this guy, but he is going to be the Kaboo Source Weaver. Hey. Why is the IntelliSense hating me so much today? And I think I need to bring this. Oh, how do I do this without making this public? I guess I have to make him public, don't I? So that he can be referent. Or I guess I can make him internal. Yeah, I get you. I get you. You're unhappy. Because now you have to be Kaboo, Source Weaver, SDK, tests, property output generator tests, test generator. Okay, so that's a lot of typing, but that's why we have that to clean some of this up. But now we have this. All right, so we don't need this anymore. Let's see. Do we not have a unit test base in here yet? We don't. So let's go with this. Public class unit test base. I've just started enjoying doing this. Let's see. Abstract. Protected. Cancellation token. CT. Test context. Current. Execution. I think it's execution cancellation token. I think is where it is. There it is. Nope. I saw you. Don't hide from me. So that will go like that. Here's your problem. Protected static. Fine. Move you out. There. Okay. And then we make you derive from base or unit test base. There we go. And then just do CT there. Okay. Okay. Now we're cruising. Let's see here. So the question then is how we want to write this test to make sure that it works. So maybe we start with our test code itself of what we what we expect to have here. So let's make some stuff up. So similar to what we did over in our sample app, we could do something very similar to this, where it ends up looking somewhat akin to this, right? We don't need the using in here. Test. We don't want this, but we do want property test. Property test. We are going to need a using into this particular namespace. So we could do something like that. Let's do this just for kicks and giggles. Let's see, property change generator. So we're going to end up needing to do something of this nature in our test. So we're going to do this. Let's see here. Generation results success. And so this is going to be partial property type get field. I think we can probably just do, I don't know, something. Maybe we will just do something. If field not, let's see, not equal to value, then, right, we will do field gets value. So that will go something like that. Something of that nature. And then what was the setup for asserting on the code afterwards? Generated sources. So we want this. All right, and so now we need, where is get source file coming from? Because is this, where is this coming from? Path combine. Source from context. Why is this? What is this doing? Content file name. I know I wrote this, but why? Got it. Because generated sources. Okay, so we can duplicate this. Goes there. Okay, so, and then right, so this is going to go like this. This is going to go here. And at least for now, the expected output on this guy is class name, property name, attribute name.g.cs. So let's see. Class name is going to be foo. So this is going to be foo underscore number underscore property test. All right, so that goes like that. That should be there. the expected output from this should look like, let's see, going to be something akin to this, but it's not going to, but this is going to end up being this. So this gets replaced with this. And we, tab it in. And property type in this case is going to be int. And property name is going to be number. And that is what we expect the generation output to look like. Okay. And then path combine. I think we expect this to be Taboo source weaver SDK. And I think this ends up being the same thing here. Yeah, I think this is where this one it may end up actually being the test class. We'll see. We'll see. This is probably going to fail, but you know what? We're going to run it. We're going to run it and we're going to work through this because I want to have better tests on this. And once we get the first one going, then we can rinse repeat. Of course, there are build errors. Let's see. Options doesn't exist. Yep. Not surprised. Didn't clean it up fully. Okay. Okay. That goes there. That goes there. Run tests. There should be some pass and some fail. Yeah. I was going to say, if it passed the first time, I was going to be very, very concerned. Okay. So let's see here. Let's see. Context verifies expected source file list to match. Did not match there. This is also probably the better way of being able to debug into these as well. So this will be helpful from that regard. So if we go into here, well, let's actually just grab it from this point here. Debug it again. Because it should hit. Oh, it didn't. So it didn't pick it up. Let's... This guy here. Analyzer tests, run implementation. Run implementation. So get analyzers, order diagnostics, does the needful. Where do these analyzers actually get applied? Those test state. Oh, there we go. Let's see here. Is this? Test state G. I'm just trying to decide if this is. These are the. That's the sources going in. Test state. I'm trying to see which is the expected and which is the actual. Let's keep going in. Source generators. Great. Okay, so verify source generators async, generates a project, does the needful, skip generator check, no. Verify documents, verify, let's see, generated documents, generated sources. Let's see, allow reordering, true, default file. Get name and folder paths. Where are... Verify documents. Hoy vey, hoy vey, hoy vey. I just want to know where the expected and actuals are. Expected, actual. Matches. So it's actually these matches that are ending up getting them. But I want to see actual documents. So ideally, I'd love to catch it right there. If I could, that would be great. There. So, expected, actual. That's all I want to see. That's all I want to see. Interesting. The content at least leads with the right line. Let's see. Length 155. Expected. How close are we? Pretty good, actually. But the file name under actual document tests expected file name content like that all looks at least initially just fine, but I've got this extra 0/ on my expected. Well, I don't understand why I'm getting test 0 CS coming through on this. Uh-oh. And here's where we start seeing the problem with the preview one. It looks like it's crashing. Excellent. Yep, it just went down. Lovely. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Something with the debugger it really, really doesn't like. Okay, well, the good news is crashes get reported to them, so hopefully that gets fixed. But I am still left a little confused on what I need to actually do here. Why is this file name being where? Confused on this generated sources. Ah, that's where. File name content. That's why it is going in that way. Okay. So I have to believe that it is the file name problem. I'm just confused why the file path Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to yank this out for a minute. We're going to go with file name. Then we're going to run this again because I have a suspicion that that's what's failing to match. But that debug output seemed to indicate that it was. Okay. What are you saying to me? What are you saying to me? Foo number expected source file list to match. Verifying source generated files. Okay. Are you telling me that if I get rid of this, because I think the way I'm supposed to interpret that minus is missing. And if I run this, it'll just magically work. Let's see. Let's see. When property attribute is applied, it generates partial property implementation. And of that nature, run. That should rename it. Might need a source generator to prettify the error messages. Don't tempt me. Don't tempt me. Mismatch between the number of diagnostics returned. The typer namespace could not be. Okay. So this is actually better. So it's failing due to a lack of the main code being able to compile. So the problem being, how do I insert? Because this code here doesn't compile. I need the project being generated to reference my test project. Reference assemblies. I think that's what I want. Like, I want it to reference. This isn't quite. I don't think this is what I want. But I need to reference. Assemblies default. No, that isn't quite what we're after. I need to reference. How did AutoMocker do it? Let me open AutoMocker again. Because in order to reference a source generator inside my test project, I actually need to reference the test project. And this one had these reference AutoMocker, right? Where is find all references? Where do you get? Okay, so this is compilation options and inject in. Okay. Okay, so that when I said I didn't need to override that, what I meant was I absolutely need to override that. So that's a fun one. Okay. Apply compilation options. Can I not just do it here? Does this not support it? Seems not. So we are going to come in here. And I think we're just going to blind always reference the test project. I think is going to be the way this rocks and rolls. Past Kevin knew more than current Kevin. It's very possible. It is very possible. Past Kevin, this is why it's important to publish your stuff to GitHub so that you can remember what your past self was thinking. And now how did I do this assembly name? Oh, it's just a static constant. What else? Hang on. What else is referencing this? New test source generator. This is automock. Okay, so it's I literally just shoved that in. I could have derived this from, well, I guess I could only derive that by going after the ultimate package, which it doesn't have a direct reference to, which is probably why I did as a string constant. In this case, I do have a hard ref against the target SDK. So I guess the question is, I can probably get at it this way. So we can go down here, get full path, and I should be able to do type of, and then attribute generator, and open generic, and then assembly, I think location. I think I can actually just do this. And I don't even I think I can just get away with this. The only reason the other one didn't work is because the other one didn't have a hard ref to it. Okay, so let's try this. So I should get past the compilation. The type or namespace test does not exist in the namespace. Ah, okay, good. So that is referencing here. But this one, oh, I see. Because I'm referencing here, and I actually want to do unit test base, I want to have it reference the test project, not the other one. So let's try this again. Now it should at least resolve the namespace. Okay. The type or namespace property test could not be found. Got it. Okay, so now we're making some progress. Property test. It's because property test is internal. One will need to be public in order for this to work properly. Don't actually care. Run test. Because this is generating a brand new project that then kicks off and runs. Cannot be found. Are you missing an assembly or directive? Why do you not find it? Let's do this. Let's go. Just add a new. Nope, that's wrong button. Wrong button. No, stop it. Stop it. I know that's what I clicked on. That's not what I meant. I take it back. Mercy. Okay. Paste. This thing resolves. Oh, this is adding a using static here to make it resolve. Okay, so that's actually what we need in our tests. We don't need this using. We need a using static referencing into ourselves. That way it finds it. Okay, that's all I needed. Okay, so run again. Let's get you compiling. Okay. Now we're back in business. Okay, so now the key part here is this is a plus, not a minus. Okay, okay. And this is basically in line with what I expected. However, this is the wrong project. Switching back. Okay, now we're cooking with fire. Now we're cooking with fire. Okay, there we go. There we go. There we go. That generates there. That generates there. This path now becomes. See. I'm going to do this. This becomes like that. Stop it. Thank you. Good co-pilots. Let's see here. That goes there. That goes there. Boom. Okay, so source weaver SDK test, property output generator test generator. That goes there. That goes there. That should match. Now we run the output, and hopefully it goes green. No. Okay, so where is it differing? Oh, property test attribute is the kicker on there. Okay, so back here, property attribute is different. So we will run that. Now, okay, so what do we got? What do we got that's different here? So namespace test expects a semicolon. Wait, how am I supposed to interpret this? Is this saying it output a boy, this diff view is kind of a pain to look at. Okay. Did not match the expected baseline. Yeah, got it. I get what you're saying. Oh, because the output generation here is expected to be old school namespaces, not file scope namespace. Okay, so that's a problem. So we expect that as our output. Okay. That gets me there. Okay, so internal, but it's actually just partial class foo. That is like that, so that makes sense. Now we run the next one. I realize I could probably read the whole diff, but I'm just going to do it one at a time, and it looks like the class might be the last one. And then extra new line on the end. And then that should be enough. Okay, mismatch between number of diagnostics returned. Okay, so those extra diagnostics returned. Expected 0, actual 7. Great. So what do we break in here? Let's see. Both partial declarations must have identical accessibility modifiers. Okay. That actually needs to be public, which means the accessibility modifier on my property class probably needs to. I need to expose the accessibility of the property on the generator. Oh, and now I changed it in one place and didn't change it in the other. Yep, that goes there. That goes there. Try again. Run the test. So can we just turn on live unit testing? Start. Yeah. Do the needful. Include all tests. Let's see. This might be. See, we'll see how this works. Sometimes this gets a little confused, but it might be good enough to get us. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Need something to kick off the live unit testing and have it run. Discovering all tests included and are up to date. 0 tests found. That is a lie. You have found more than 0 tests. They are right there in front of you. Is there a reason you refuse to run them? To not run. Why do you not run all the tests? Okay. Screw it. I just decided I don't care, and I'm going to click the button manually. I am capable of clicking a button and drinking a Mountain Dew. Okay, what did I screw up now? Using system runtime, which has a higher reference than the reference runtime, blah, 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 with reference version 8. Oh, this is compiling with the wrong version of .NET under the hood. Where do I control my .NET version? In here, there will be an option to set that, and I don't remember where it is. That notification. Here. Okay, somewhere in here. That global option, blah, 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 blah. Didn't I do that in AutoMocker? Thought I set my target version in one of these files, but maybe I didn't. Because this guy here is net 10. Where does it get set? Lang version here. I think that does it. I think is what we're going for. I don't know if that's going to change my referenced. Yeah, so we'll have to deal with the referenced assemblies. Let's see, property test attribute, line 8, expected semicolon. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh. Don't do that. That is bad. Don't do that. That is bad. Okay. So, short version, learn how to C#. Let's see. Set. I have a missing amount of whites. Oh, I just love it when it's white space. Okay. Let's see. What did I mess up on? No white space there after the set. Space there. Okay. This is why I have visible white space turned on. Just the number of times I care is too high. Okay, so that addressed all of the compilation errors, and now I just have an issue of system runtime being referenced, of this thing picking up runtime 8. Where is this thing doing this from? So if I do default here, do I get the same error? I think I probably do. Let me look here. Go here. System runtime version. Because it is a bit unusual, the fact that I'm referencing back into my target assembly. Oh, reference assembly. That is probably it. Go back here. I think we looked at that before. We're going to go here and go reference assemblies. Reference assemblies. Even better when you get X platform errors due to line endings. Yeah, amen. Let's see. I think I do netcore. No. Where is net? 5, 6, 7, 8. I can count 9. But because of string ordering, 10 is here. Net 10, I think, is what we go for. I think that's the last one. We've done it! Success! I don't feel any urge to backport this at this point. But we're going to do this down in the base because I don't want to do this on every single test. That sounds like work. Yeah, so we're going to go down here. Instructor. No. Come on. Oh, there. We're going to do that just like that. That way I don't have to do it in multiple places. Explorer, rerun this guy. Okay, so that handles, go back here. That handles getting test going, or at least better tests. Now, I did want to go through on the property context because I did note that there was a small issue, and now we can actually write a test for it to make it work. We're going to just copy this for the moment. Copy. East. Let's see. When property, this property is private, it generates partial property implementation. So what I would like to do is change this to be private, right? And so now, ideally, what I want to see is private here. This should fail because the generator above isn't handling this case. And the solution here will be to change the context to expose the access modifier for the property so that it does the right thing. Good. Right? Boom, boom. Great. That's what we expect. So up here, ideally what I would like to write is, let's see, context, property, I want to double check the terminology there. Language spec. I'm fairly confident it's called access modifier in the language spec, but I just want to confirm. Yeah. Okay. Good. I'm not as crazy as I property access modifier. Yeah. So I don't know what it's going to be yet, so we're going to start with string. Property access modifier. So we're going to lead with that. That'll at least get it compiling. And then We're going to default it to internal because internal is what class modifiers default to if they are unspecified. So we may write a test for that as well. And now we can write tests for things. It makes me so happy. Okay, let's see. Property access modifier, property symbol. And then I want to get declared accessibility. And what is this enum look like? Yeah. Shut up. I just want to see what you are declared as. Got it. I would like to go from accessibility to a nice string. So what we are going to do is we are going to create, or let's see, ability extensions. I'm gonna do this. I think we can probably make it public, static class, and then we're gonna use the new extension block, accessibility. No. Public string. Yeah, that. Detected in friend. Why are you hallucinating members? Whoa. That's exciting. So wait, what is the error here? Has already been handled. I didn't even... Wait, you're telling me friend? No. Why? Am I about to learn something new? So I suspect the reason friend is declared here is because this is .NET and not just C#. Yeah, and I'm fairly confident VB.NET friend says modif. I'm fairly confident. Yeah, this is why it exists. Okay. As far as I'm concerned, VB doesn't exist. VB doesn't exist. VB doesn't exist. Okay. That'll work. So we are going to have this, and then we are going to back to here, and I think what I'm going to do is accessibility dot internal to C# string. Boom. We're going to just do this. There we go. That makes me feel warm and fuzzy. Property generator to C# string. And now it just works. And now all my tests pass. Or at least that's what we're going for. Test. Pass. Yay, it passes. Okay. But friend showed up in the C# decompiler. Friend showed up in the Roslyn APIs. So inside of here, we are referencing Microsoft Code Analysis, which is the underlying .NET compiler. And so it has to be able to handle all of the .NET languages, which the only three that are really, I guess, alive that much right now are like C# obviously the big one, but VB is still there. F# is still there. And so what you end up inside of the compiler is an understanding of all of their things, But in my case, I'm only dealing with C#. So I'm not going to, if somebody decides they like this and wants to use it, like, I realize in theory it's possible to use these with other things, but for now I'm content saying it's C# only. So at some point, if somebody gets real energetic and is like, we want to all support this to VB, great. But I'm only going to concern myself with C# for now. But yeah, no, good question. It's only because we're inside of a project that is building a .NET source generator that we are getting ourselves into this situation where we start seeing those APIs. Okay, so that compiles there. Those tests both pass. I feel like there was something else around the properties that I wanted to validate that worked. I'm wondering now that I've gotten this. Yeah, it gave you a compiler. Yeah, so the compiler that it gave me here, let's see if I can undo these. So this compile error is only because it generated a switch expression. And so if we look at protected and friend, we can see that protected and friend is equal to protected and internal. And so it's flagging it saying you'll never reach this particular member because this one will always handle it because these two are the same errors. So this is one of those cases where a switch expression, the compiler, because it knows the values here, can actually give you a useful error and say, hey, this pattern that you've set up is functionally unreachable. So is the only reason why that ends up doing it. Same with friend. I assume friend is defined as internal. So they're both the same value. So I'm just not going to deal with them. But yeah, great question. Okay. So we'll go there because we're never like, that's why I named my extension 2C# string. Because if somebody were to want to use these generators to generate VB or similar, it's like, yeah, well, my API is not going to work for you. And again, I'm not trying to handle every possible case where somebody might want to do a source generator, because at the end of the day, if somebody wants to do something really complicated, you should just build your own incremental source generator. I'm just trying to make the easy case easy. And I'm wondering if I actually want to go a step further on my testing down here. I think I do. Because I'm about to copy this test again, and I'm realizing I should aggressively refactor my tests. So rather than just unit test base, we are going to do public abstract source generator test base, I think is what we're going to do. We are going to aggressively refactor this. T-generator. And we're going to just do, this maneuver here. So, because I think I can make, I want to make writing the tests as easy as possible. And I have a opinion that says that your code will rise to the level of your testing. Test base, test generate. This needs to be public. That way that works. And then I want this guy here to where T generator derives from I incremental generator. There, just to lock that in a little bit. And then we're going to do, oh, I need you to be derived from unit test base. So we pick up the cancellation token. I want to move this guy here into the base, because I believe what we can do here, the top is going to remain the same. Let's see. We're going to go protected. And the only thing that's going to change is, so this stays the same. This is going to be get, ooh. We'd make you not static anymore. Nope, nope. You're close. You're close, dunce pilot, but no. Get type dot name, and this will be type of T generator dot name. Because I think I'm going to just structure all of my tests in a very similar way. That way I don't have to think really hard, which feels nicer. Okay, that's going to go like that. That goes like that. Okay, so first step in doing this is we whack this guy out of here. And we verify that these tests still work. So as long as, where'd my, keep closing my test explorer. Run. Oh, I didn't mean to close you. Sorry. I meant to hit the pin, not the X. Okay, good. Those still pass, so that's good. So we haven't broken anything yet. And I think what I want to do is I want to just run, because most of these tests are going to be test code, output file. So I think what I want is a simple method down here. Let's see. Affected. Test generator. String input code. String expected generated code. Yeah. So it's going to be something akin to that. But I think we can get away with this. Yeah, what are you doing? Property. These shows. T generator. Why are you unhappy about T generator? Must be a non-abstract type with a public parameter constructor. That's fine. We can enforce that. Okay. So that handles that. Source file name, source text. No, I don't think we care about that at all. We just want test code. Test code gets input code. We don't care about any of these. Let's see. Expected generated code goes there. Can leave this guy protected for now, but he's probably going to end up only being used here. We don't need this anymore. Thank you, Dunce Pilot. And then file name. Can we derive that? We can't really derive that because it's going to be very dependent upon what is in this code up here. But what this means is now we can go await, run. Where is it? Where is it? Run. Yeah, maybe I'll just call it test generator. Okay, we'll call this test generator here. This goes like this. This goes like this. And then we do input. Goes here. Comma. Toot, toot. Output. Goes here. Let's unindent that a little bit. That looks ugly. And then expected file name is the last one. And that goes here. I think letting the base class do the .g.cs is good. And then we don't need any of this. All of this goes away. Okay, run test, make sure it still passes. Should be identical. Great. Excellent. And now we can do the same thing up here. Here's your problem. Test generator hides. Well, we're not going to need this anymore in a minute anyway. So let's see. Await test generator. So input code is this guy here. Actually, let's just grab the whole thingy-mabobber. You go here. And now we can just focus on writing the important parts of the test that I care about, and everything else doesn't have to matter anymore, which is what I like. I like having writing tests to be easy because I am more likely to write more and better tests if it is easy. And then this all goes away here. What about the cancellation token? Cancellation token is handled in the base class. So down in this test generator, and it does get kind of weird because cancellation token, so source generator test base is the base of our unit tests. It derives from unit test base. Unit test base has static access to the cancellation token because TUnit provides static access to the cancellation token. So it is being used inside of here, even though we're not passing it in from the outside, and we don't need to pass it in from the outside because we would just be reaching for that same static member. Okay, now what are you complaining about? What are you hiding? Base types attribute. Source generator test base. Oh, that's dirty. That's dirty. I didn't get this at first. So here's the fun pop quiz for people, right? So there is the error in question. Dial it out just a little bit so we can see it, right? Property output generator test generator, right? Hides inherited member, and there's our base class. And then property generator test, there's our generic property. Test generator, string, string, string. So I have a method that takes 3 strings, the one that we just wrote, that has the same name as this guy here, causing this. Okay. I think the simplest thing here is we're going to rename this one, because I don't know that I want to change the other one, and test generator is a little generic, so yeah, it's probably worth it. And just to make you shut up, I'm going to do that. That way it stops whining. Okay, now all the tests should pass. Everything should be clean, happy. Everyone should be warm and fuzzy. Okay, great. Great, 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 great. Now that we've got that, nope, not what I wanted you to do. Thank you. Thank you. Let's go there. Let's go there. Oh, bad copy. Oh, bad copy. Oh, bad copy. Oh, it's so bad. Oh, it's so bad. Okay. Not as dumb as I look. Okay. When property has no access modifier, it generates partial property implementation. So this guy here is going to have no access modifier, and this guy here should generate an internal access modifier. That is the theory. Look at me go. Look at me go. And we failed. Excellent. Why did we fail? Did I not save something? Where do you see oh. Where did I delete? Did I delete from somewhere else? Kind of scared that I deleted code from somewhere else, and I did not intend to. Problem is, it's hard to see. So what we're going to do is we're just going to run all the tests, because if I did delete it from one of the other tests, it will then fail as well. Okay. So... Oh, interesting. I lied. Oh, I feel so stupid now. So one of the favorite things that I love telling people on my team is that they should always specify their access modifiers, or I get to quiz them on what the defaults are, because the defaults confuse people. The default of a property is not internal. The default is private. Class members default to private if you don't specify one. Namespace members, like classes, default to internal if unspecified. Duh. Duh. You moron. Okay, so that should fix that. And this shouldn't be unspecified. What? Wait. Am I stupid? What do I keep deleting? This should be unset, because this is the source. This is the generated definition. That's what I expect. Time to quiz yourself now. Yes, Izzy, 100%. It might be an indication that it's getting late and I'm losing my marbles, which is a very real possibility. Oh, does it actually want it to be empty? Must have identical accessibility modifiers. So not same value, identical. Whoa. Okay. Okay. I can respect that. So is there a none on here? Not applicable. There's not really a none. Do not change the order of these enum values. I just love seeing that in there. I think then what that means is I should not set this to anything other than empty string. Because this then, what that tells me is that should end up being empty string. And I'm realizing that's probably going to mean, oh, we could do something really fun. This is going to be incorrect, but it's going to be incorrect because it's going to do that. Just watch. That's going to pass. That extra space. It's going to make all the difference in the world. No? Where's it getting private from? Are you telling me that it's still coming through with the declared accessibility of private, despite the fact that it doesn't? See, this is one of those areas of source generation APIs that I go, this is dumb. So let's grab it here. What is the declared accessibility on this member that has nothing? Is it in fact private? Look at that. It is. I don't like that. That doesn't make me feel warm and fuzzy. That does not make me feel warm and fuzzy. So it is defined fun. Is it like Enigma fun or whoosh, there goes something way over my head fun? Both, I think. Oh, that is so dumb. So there's the declared accessibility, but it's actually not, in my opinion, declared. It doesn't have it. It is implicitly declared. No. I'm trying to look to see if there is a way of grabbing this. And knowing that it doesn't have an accessibility modifier on it. You have to be explicit when making source generators. Yes, you do, 100%. And and this is why I want the API that I put on top of them to be a little bit nicer, because I think most people don't want to go to this level. I know I want to be able to build source generators in some of my projects, and I don't want to think really hard. I want to be, because there's been a number of cases over the last couple of weeks where I've done some coding and I'm like, man, it'd be really cool if I had a source generator, but just for this, like this one class where I want to use it. And it's not really worth me building a whole source generator if it's only going to be used inside of one class. But if I could make a source generator as trivial as like writing one of these, like if this is all I have, no, stop it. If this is all I have to do to create a source generator is build one of these classes with like my own attribute, this feels easy. So this is kind of what I want, is I want to build something like this. And then I'm fine saying, oh yeah, I'll build a source generator for that. It's going to take me 2 minutes, right? Heck, I can probably write a skill and have Copilot spin it for me. Can it be explicitly be implicit though? Izzy, you're going to make my head hurt. The question is can I get access to like one of these things has to know about the I assume it's going to be the symbol that's going to have the information that I want. Is with events, original overrides properties, parameters, partial, ref kind, type, like can be referenced by name. Hey, Robert, close. Source generators, but yes. And then you abuse it 1,000-fold. Izzy, you are 100% correct. I fully intend to abuse the living daylights out of this once I have it. Because, again, I feel like being able to author these source generators, people do dumb things because, especially with like reflection, because authoring a source generator is hard. If I can lower that bar to make authoring these things trivial, I think that'll declare. I'm sorry. Huh? What symbol am I looking at? Foo. Really? Oh, foo is the class, so that makes sense. Okay. So I jumped too many layers. Why is this so hard to know whether I just want to know if the accessibility modifier was actually declared on the property or not, rather than like That is a lie. Yes, it has private accessibility, but it's not declared as private. It's declared as ambiguous. Declaring syntax references. What do you hold? Simple syntax. Oh, dear heavens. I mean, I could go look at that. Property declaration. Syntax token, identifier token number. Modifiers. And I bet you it's the modifiers that would have it. So let's see. So let me get this straight. Declaring syntax references, going in, looking at modifiers. Okay, so we are gonna equal accessibility not specified. No, it doesn't, and that's the problem because the declared accessibility is coming through as private in this case, which is really, really, really annoying because it is technically private, but we've only declared it as partial. What I want to do is I want to debug on this test where it is declared and confirm that I see partial coming through. Because I think what I expect to see there is having two modifiers on there. Yeah, so Wix, you're saying yes to modifier. So that gives me a bit of hope. Let's see. So because there's the declared accessibility, syntax references. There. Modifiers. There we go. Okay. That's... So I could go after it that way. And grab the syntax tokens off of it. Boy. That is dirty. That is absolutely dirty. I guess we can go that route. So let's go here. String access modifier gets... We're going to start here. And we could short circuit, I guess. And only do it if it's... So let's do that. Let's try to make this efficient. If property symbol dot declared accessibility equals accessibility private, then we'll do some work. Else, we'll just straight convert it. All right? So access modifier gets that. So in this case, we are going to go after the property symbol, and we are going to go after the declaring syntax references. Declaring syntax references. Let's see. Let's see. The annoying part is you need to check it individually with is_kind for each keyword. The StyleCop analyzer can detect a method that does not have an access modifier. Yeah, that might be a worthwhile thing to go pull. Are the StyleCop analyzers open source? I don't know if they are. Hey, look. Let's see. Just out of curiosity, do you know which StyleCop analyzer? Because it may be worth poking into how they're doing it as well. It's just, I have a feeling if I just punch that in real quick, see what it comes back with. Access level helper. Huh, I wonder if that's what I want. Oh, dear heavens. Get access level. Oh boy. You can try SA 1400. Okay, thank you. I have a sinking suspicion I may have just found my way into what I'm looking for, which does not give me warm, fuzzy feelings. So they are going after. Oh boy. Wow. Access level names. And access level, I assume, is their own enum. Yeah, so they've got their own in here, and they are going after the modifiers in the syntax token list to be able to know. Well, that's kind of cool confirmation. I don't know if that makes me feel warm and fuzzy or not. Let's duplicate real quick, and then we will briefly go and hunt. You need to check each keyword. Yeah, that doesn't. It doesn't make me feel too warm and fuzzy, but we're going to just briefly glance at what they are doing inside of their analyzer. Check access modifiers. That looks like what I'd like to see. So yeah, they are literally going through the token kinds, hunting them out. Okay, so it looks like looking at the modifiers on the syntax token is going to be the answer. Great. Great, great. That is what I was hoping for. Let's see. Syntax references. So, what are you exactly? Syntax references. Mutable array. Let's see. Reach, var, syntax reference in blah. I'm somewhat tempted to kind of cheat though a little bit because I know something already. I know that it's been parsed as private. Yeah, I'll find until C# adds another access modifier. We used to joke that they never would, and then they added private protected. What was that? 2 versions back? Like, it's not completely unheard of, but I do wonder if there's any more for them to add, because private protected was the oh shoot, and file. Yeah. That was another good example. Like, private protected kind of made sense because it filled out that weird blend where you wanted something protected but internal, and protected internal was already a thing, which meant protected or internal, and you wanted the and, so that like it filled a missing gap. But yeah, file's another good example, which is just great. Let's see here. Let's see. Is there not a... Do I actually have to get the syntax node? So we should probably do this. We should probably do this. Var syntax node. Let's see. Wait. Oh, wait a minute. We are not inside. Oh, we cannot do that, but we can do that. We can do that because I think get syntax takes a cancellation token. Or add a new feature for something else that includes the modifier implicitly. Don't scare me. I've already got enough fear. You're making it worse, Izzy. Okay. Syntax node. Boy, that is. Nope, that's right. And then. Wait, how did I get to the modifiers from there? Oh, is kind. Let's see. Oh, and this is going to be where if syntax node is kind, syntax kind, private keyword, then we will set access modifier equal to accessibility private to C# string. Otherwise, if we get down here, I'm gonna cheat and just do that. And actually, what we can do here, we can save ourselves a little bit of trouble, bail early, and we don't even need to do this. We can wait until all the way down here, and we can just do access modifier, that maneuver. Okay. I have a strange suspicion I'm going to want this little chunk of code somewhere else, but for now, actually, let's wrap it up in a function real quick. There's no reason not to. Private static string get declared is probably this modifier. This. Don't do this to me. Paste. Let's see. And then when a property does not specify access modifier, the declared utility is still reported as private. This is a problem for partial properties where the access modifier must always match. Okay. It goes like that, and we're going to do something like property symbol, and we're going to do cancellation token. Not all code paths return a value. Access modifier, and then we can just come down here and we can do this, and we can do this, and we can go property symbol. And now when I inevitably want this somewhere else, I have it. And it's in a nice little wrapped up bucket that I can just move. Okay. Test, run. Please do the right thing. Okay, now we're back to having the space problem. Okay. So that's better because now it's just a string issue. Because right now, the issue is that the generator is just taking the access modifier and slapping a space on the end of it. Now, I've got an idea of how to fix this. and it's dirty. It's absolutely dirty. Okay, so that works. That works. How do people feel if we do this? Does that make people feel weird? So here's my thinking. I could do some fancy stuff with this interpolated string. Because right now, this method just takes in a string, right? Nothing fancy. But there's a $sign here. And more often than not, there's probably always going to be a $sign here. And I can do something fancy when there's a $sign here and allow for things like this, because I suspect there's going to be plenty of cases where we want to trim up white space. And so we could go through and do something maybe of this nature, where it allows a space, doesn't allow a space. We do something funky with these symbols. What is Elm white space template syntax? Because what do they do to deal with their white space? They have funky controlling white space. Yes. They have a funky way of doing this, and it works out kind of nice. So you can see here we received a few extra lines. And so they have this concept of being able to tack these minuses in as a way of trimming them up. Right? So those lines get dropped. And I'm just wondering if maybe it makes more sense to maybe do something like this and do something fancy. This could be fun. This could be fun. 1 second. I need to go poach some code that I wrote a couple weeks ago. Need to go find it because I did something very, 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 very bad. And it's glorious. So we're going to go borrow it. Or at least borrow the idea behind it. So, because Microsoft added a cool new feature. And it is something, yeah. There it is. There it is. There's the guy. Okay, so if we, so here's the feature in question. This is the fanciness. So if anybody wants to see it. So we can write a custom interpolated string handler. Right? This is powerful. Very, very powerful. Where we can go through and deal with appending in things as we see fit. Right? And the only question then is, what are we going to do with it? And I think maybe what we do is we allow for this sort of thing where it's append a, where the plus is append a space, but only if this is non-empty, if this is non-null or white space, right? I think is what we want. Right? So if we were to make that work, how would we do it? We would do something very incredibly stupid. So we are going to blatantly go back to this guy here, and we are going to just steal, and by steal, I mean borrow some code. We are going to, why are you not, oh, are we not going to be able to do this? Oh, crap. This doesn't exist in older frameworks. Oh, this is interesting. This is interesting. I can't get away with this in Net standard 2.0. Yeah, that's the problem. Is it's net standard 2.0. Oh, dang it. This is not available in net standard 2.0. Let me look at this attribute though. I wonder if I can backport it. You may need to add a boilerplate for it. I think you are absolutely correct. So I think we might have to. Okay, so let's assume that we can do this. Um, white space interpolated string handler. So we're going to do this for the moment, just so we can move this to an appropriately named file. And then we are going to see if we can just kind of shove that in and see if I can make it work properly. Just gonna see. Override read only. Points for spelling. Okay, so we are going to do append literal. We're going to get rid of all these console write lines because these are just a waste of my time. Let's see, private read only. And we can just do new. And I don't know. Literal length. So we're going to get rid of those for the moment. Append formatted. Okay. So that goes there. Yeah, copy the attribute. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, I suspect this will work just fine. Most the C# compiler has so much duck typing where if as long as it sees the thing it expects in the right place with the right namespace, it's perfectly happy to leverage it. Okay, and then we need to go back to here because this was add class member, and we are going to add in an overload here, and the overload needs to look like. I am looking for where I have used this. And this guy is going to end up being one of these things. Right, so we will do that doohickey. And then that means that this guy will come in here, and I think I can get rid of this now. And he should be picked up automatically by that guy. No, what is your problem here? Cannot convert to string interpolated handler. Is that because why? Wondering if this is. I wonder if I'm going to be bit by the net standard problem. We're going to put this back, and I'm going to just overload this differently so that I can be intentional in my invocation of it. So if I do output add class member 2 and do this, is it going to play nice, or is it going to not know how to convert? You may get stymied by not being able to convert. Though do that, do that, do that. No, it needs both the parameters, even if we don't end up using them. We may not be able to get this to work on the old one. That's sad. It's very, very sad. Because it would be cool to have this in place. Might have a workaround. One moment. Seriously, Robert? I'll take it. Hit me with what you got. Because it is kind of annoying that I'm being, like, I get that this is something new, but it feels like something that should work. If the interpolated string handler, which makes sense. Yeah, we could do something else, but it does contains 9 overloads. It's just so sad. Let's see. Let's see. Property group, target framework, net standard, ling 10, and property group, attribute usage. I think that's what I have right here. Let's see. Attribute usage, class, struct, allow multiple false, inherited false. You have internal. Versus public sealed class, interpolated string handle or attribute derived from attribute. Yeah, I believe that's what I've got. It compiles. The issue that I'm having is that it appears that even though it's happy to compile, it is not getting the same, whatever matching is being done by the compiler to leverage it is not being able to do so. Are you able to actually write functionally what I want to then do is once I have that, I want to be able to write a method like this and have this work. Right? The problem is this add class 2, I can't invoke it all. Because it's still insisting that it is a string. Which we could do a formatable string. I just don't like it. Just don't like it. I wonder if we come at this a different way, right? So because I could wrap. What if we do this? What if we do this slightly differently? What if we get a little more creative? So I don't. We're not going to keep this, but all right. We do something like this. We implement this as formatable, right? We do this sucker here. We override toString, right? We have this guy take in a string value. The toString is just going to dump out the value, right? That goes like that. That goes like that. We do a change this up here. We do a checking Oh. Oh. Hold up. I see the difference, Robert. Thank you. Thank you. I'm an idiot. I'm an idiot. You're right. You're right. This does work, but this only works if you're not an idiot, which I was. So if I move him to a different namespace, the subtle difference of what I have just done is this guy was in the wrong namespace. And your example that you just sent me appropriately puts it in the right namespace. And I bet you that makes all the difference. Because I'm guessing your sample works. Yeah, okay. Yep. Okay, we're back. We're back on. We're back on with the cool option. Yeah, that's a big difference. Yeah. I've gotten so used to FileScope namespaces that it's almost you almost forget to think about them. And unfortunately, when you forget to think about them, then they don't happen. Okay. Okay. That goes like that, that goes like that, that goes like that, that goes like that. Okay. Now, if I do 2, this now works. Let the fun begin. Let the chaos commence. Because now I should be able to do this. And the world becomes my oyster. Oh, there are days I shouldn't be allowed to code. This is one of those days. Hang on. Now we have fun. What have I done? You have enabled me to crack the second Mountain Dew so that we can make this kind of code work. Now, do we need to? No. There are plenty of ways around it, and most people would have put in a ternary by now. Right? Like that is what the standard person does. But I think we have concluded I am well past standard at this point. Well past standard. So what did I do on my other? So let's see here. So there are a number of overloads. And I'm just going to borrow some of them. We're going to do this one. And we're going to do this one. And we're going to do this one. And we're going to get rid of this garbage here. Okay. So if format is not null, trying to decide. Well, to keep it simple, stupid. Keep it simple, stupid. Keep it simple, right? So if format is not null, we are going to builder append value, and then we are going to builder append a space, but only. So if not string is null or empty value, then we so all of this work to suffix a space character, just so we're clear. This is the hardest possible way to suffix a space character, I think. I'm sure somebody can come up with a harder one. Okay, so this goes here. And we need one of the yeah. I get it. I get it. I need the overloads from the doc. Yeah. There was the comment about the 9 overloads in the default interpolated string. Yeah, I need you. But is it enterprise enough? Good question. Good question. I think if we get all these overloads, yes. Yes, absolutely. Because which one is it squawking about that it's missing? It wants append formatted string. Append formatted T string. Wait, isn't that the one we just did? Uh, let's see. So, hang on. What is this guy here doing? Oh, we might want this guy here as a string. I'm just... How did... Interesting. Hmm. Interesting, interesting, interesting. Okay. That's actually not the one that I want. I just want append formatted string, I think is what I want. One without this overload. And then I know value is not null here. What I really want to know is, does this append a character or not? That way I don't have to two-string it myself. I will let the builder deal with that. Let's see. Builder and value. It gets me to there. And that gets that one in. Are we compiling now? Okay. Now, do the test pass? Oh, wait. The test should fail now. Yeah. Hold on. All that so we don't have to put the stupid space in. Now let's run this and let's see. Well, we've got 2 failures, so that's already unexpected. So something's not quite jiving. Let's see here. So this is... I mean, the space part is working great. The accessibility modifier that I thought we had already fixed is not working. Stop moving. Oh, it's because that one's pinned. I thought we had fixed that. Get access modifier. Well, let's debug it. I guess I didn't run it after I refactored that method. Thought I had, but it's late enough. I probably didn't. This is why we need tests. That way when it's late and I can't think straight. So syntax node should be partial. Simple syntax reference. Property declaration. Oh. Wait. Private partial. Wait a minute. Am I looking at the right test? Also, have you tried the new Dirty Mountain Dew, the one mixed with cream soda flavor? If so, how is it? It is good. Yes, I actually have 18 of them sitting near me. You have to like a cream soda, because it is more cream soda than Mountain Dew flavored. It does have that kind of Mountain Dew sugary hint that comes in behind it. So there is that, but it is very heavy on the cream soda flavor. If you like a cream soda and you want something a little maybe with that Mountain Dew zing and sugar on it, it's great. If you don't like cream soda, stay away from it. You'll hate it. Yeah, 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 yeah. I get it. I get it. Shut up. Okay, am I looking at the right file? When property is private, it generates. Oh, did I just edit the wrong file? The property is private. Hey, expand that code too. Private, private. So hold on, what did it generate? Generated without. Oh, so this is the okay. So my other test did succeed. Um, but my function is not matching as expected, and therefore we're not getting the private that we previously were getting. Therefore, it's failing. Ah ha ha. However, it is important to note the other one now works. We no longer have to type in ternaries for spaces. We can just do plus. And I think I want to change it to where for each plus it appends that many spaces. I think is what we're going to go for. So this will probably change because right now we only support the one, but in a moment we will deal with that. But first, let's get this guy figured out. We need to go to our property generator on this guy here, and we need to understand why we are not finding declared syntax references. So let me just look at this guy because I thought when I looked at you, I got property declaration. Oh, I need to get, oh, I think I see the problem. I think I'm not going against the right thing because I am going to the syntax, which is going to give me the property syntax declaration. And what I really need on here is to actually look at the modifiers collection. And I'm not looking at the modifiers collection. I'm just looking at the root one. Got it. So syntax is kind is never going to return true because this is the property syntax node, not the modifiers for it, which is what actually has what I want. Got it, got it, got it, got it, got it. Get syntax. Let's do this. So if blah 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 syntax reference is property declaration syntax prop syntax because we need that, and we can probably dial it down a little bit for each var modifier in prop syntax dot modifiers. There we go. That makes the world make sense again. And this goes down here. This gets formatted. How it goes? Just been lurking a bit. Still you, auto source gen. Yeah, Society Dog. Still plugging away at the same one as before. But we actually, so we have at least what I've built so far working. I'm now focused a little more on trying to make sure I get a good set of tests built around it and getting things squared away, which, good news, the tests are pointing out all kinds of failures, so they're doing the job. Izzy, yes, same time next week. Let me confirm that. I don't, I have a vacation coming up in July, but I'm fairly confident it's several weeks out. Because next week, so in the U.S., the 4th of July is a national holiday, and my company gives us the 4th of July, gives us the 3rd off since the 4th is the Saturday. So next Thursday we are on, so same time next week. But the good news is that it will functionally be my Friday, so that'll be fun. Okay, that gets me to there. That gets me to there. Debug test. I just want to see it work. Vacation here. We also have a massive heat wave. So just been fixing a bit of stuff up and just sweating and gaming mostly in the shade. I hear that. So where I'm at, we have what we call fire season, where forest fires tend to sporadically pop up and cause mass amounts of smoke and chaos and destruction. So it's kind of like a heat wave. It's just a heat wave where the heat then decides to get legs and start running around and destroying things, which makes it really fun. Okay, so this one here, private keyword. So this one we should hit. There we go. And we're just going to F5 it, F5 it, and let it go. Oh, pack my heat wave away. Yeah. For the most part, it's not terrible, but we occasionally get some real zingers. There was one that sprung up a couple weeks ago that I think took out a dozen houses. It's just there's certain spots that are, when it gets really hot and dry, that are kind of higher risk. So they do have the forest fighters ready to deploy, but like that fire, it went from a doesn't exist to a evacuation notices spam to everybody in like 100-mile radius right bloody now. So that was exciting. Because it sprang and took off, and I think by the time the firefighters got a handle on it, it was like 300 acres. Okay, so now we're passing everything. This looks like a great opportunity to commit because I don't want to throw any of this away. Great. That makes me happy. So that gives us much better testability. We have nice little generators. I should probably do up a similar set of tests around the class one as well to make sure it works appropriately. And I think I also want to give myself, on the output generation, I think I can get rid of this altogether. I think I can. Actually, no, I think I want to leave the string overload there. Just because if I take away the string overload, people always have to put $signs in front of it. And I don't really want to force that. Let's see. But 30 plus in Denmark, Northern Scandinavia, is not the norm in summer. Too hot for a Viking like me. That goes out in boxes in the winter with the dog in the garden. Yeah, I believe that. I've got a colleague that we joke because I am convinced he just wears shorts all year round. Doesn't matter the temperature. It's a short stay. Okay. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to add in overloads. Well, I kind of want to make all of these things match. Ooh, could I? Sorry, I'm getting a bad idea. Could I run my own generators on my own project? Don't don't think you can. Because I was just thinking, this type of pattern where I want to do the same thing on all of these is exactly the use case for these types of source generators. But I can't run these source generators on itself. I don't think I can. I'd have to do something funky where I pull it out. No, not going to do it. Not going to do it. I'm going to be good. I am not going to be bad. I am going to do it like a normal person, and we're just going to rock and roll, right? That is how we are going to do this. Okay, we're going to put this up here. Put this up here. We're going to collapse that in. Collapse this up. Collapse this here. Add namespace members. Yeah, exactly like that, Copilot. Thank you. And I don't think I have a reason for needing the white space ones on the using statements. I'm going to leave it off for now until I come up with a use case where I need it. think that works. Think that works. Okay. So we're going to go like that. And then let's do, I'd like to get in property output generator test. I'd like to do one for the class one real quick. Then I may end up calling it for the night, but I kind of want to get, the generator class attribute generator. I kind of want to do one on the other side of the fence real quick because this feels like what I, stop it, do what I told you, not what I said. Thank you. That goes there. Any dog news? Not a ton. We've picked up some coyotes, which are small wild dogs in our area, that are, there's a small family of them. So 2 adults and an unknown number of pups. And I say unknown number because I haven't seen them, but dear heavens, we have heard them. Last night at about 10 p.m., they just all started screaming at the top of their lungs. I was inside my house and I'm like, what is going on? It woke up both my kids. Like, they're like, what's that noise? I'm like, it's the coyotes. And I don't know what they're so excited about. And so it was a very exciting one. My dog was not thrilled to have a bunch of coyotes screaming. She has decided that it is her job to defend us from the coyotes, which I approve of. So that much is going well. They are cowards and generally won't fight unless there's like food or you're going after their den or something. So, and she's bigger than they are, so I'm not too concerned about it. But other than that, she is doing great. With any luck, I think we're gonna go and do a obedience class with her, probably starting Monday. We'll see. A dog trainer that I work with locally. So I don't know if I've mentioned it too much on stream, but so there's a local dog trainer that I have been learning decoy work from. So decoy, if you imagine if you think like law enforcement or military, the decoy is the guy in the puffy suit that they train the dogs on, who's the one that gets bit, right? It is so much fun. I have so much fun doing it. So I get to be the guy in the puffy suit taking bites, which is exciting. But she also does like obedience training and, non-violent things with dogs as well. So she's got a obedience class starting next week that I'm hoping we get her enrolled in so we can go through and do. You have them in your area. Crewage? I don't know that term. What is a crewage? Is this another? Oh, mountain lion. Cougar. Yes. 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 Oh, we absolutely do have cougars in our area. Yeah. One of these little kitties. And I say little, they are, but yes, mountain lion or cougar. They are not to be messed with. Those ones I would not allow my dog near. There was actually a jogger, was it last year or 2 years ago? That was out jogging on one of our trails that actually got attacked by a cougar and got the crap kicked out of him. Because like it was one of those. It's like maybe it was hungry, maybe not. I mean, the hiker fought it off and it ran, so it clearly decided you aren't worth it. But yeah, that would have been terrifying. Let's see. We're gonna name this to class, and then we're gonna call you class. Yeah, it was one of those. It came up in the local newspaper of jogger attacked by cougar. Is like, holy cow, because they get big. I've only seen, I think, 2 or 3 of them in my life around here, because most of the time they just avoid people, and the times when they're around, they're usually sneaky enough to where you find the aftermath of them, not them themselves. There was one time I was out deer hunting, and my dad and I we had gone walked down the trail, and then when we came back to the car for lunch, there were cougar tracks on top of our footprints. I was like, oh, that's terrifying. When we left the truck after lunch, there was cougar tracks on top of our returning tracks. We're like, oh, this is terrifying. It's stalking us. Because occasionally they get smart and they realize that hunters are out there for deer. And so they'll just wait until the hunter gets the deer and then they'll go and take it. Little jerks. So we never got a deer that day and we never saw the cougar, but its footprints were on top of ours. We're like, that is not okay. I do not like that. But never did see him. Yeah. That they had a problem with one that they found out the pets was an easy meal. Yeah. Yeah, no, I've definitely heard of that in the area of different spots where it's because like I'm close enough to the city that I'm not overly concerned about them, but you only have to go a few miles from me before like I've heard of people saying, "Oh yeah, we've seen them through here." Cuz like I'm technically rural, but like the pavement ends 100 feet from my house. So it's like I'm not that far past where the city ends. It's like I can see it. You're still in eyesight. So it's not that terrifying. But yeah, there's also a handful of other things that could come walking down. Like since we moved into our place, we've had moose come through, which I would never let my dog near because they know they're bigger than everything and they'll just step on anything that gets in their way. And then we also had a black bear come walking down our road at one point. Another thing I wouldn't let the dog chase. Because you don't mess with the bears. Let's see. This is going to be a class attribute generator. Generation class context. I'm not sure I like how... I may have to move this. I kind of want to put generation context next to both of these. Feels weird. Yeah. But still, nature is beautiful. Oh, yeah. No, no argument there. No argument there. It's fun having it close enough where I don't have to go far. Let's see. So we want a generator that does something more like this. Let's see here. So we've already got the from current. We're going to slap in a using. We're going to get rid of all of this. I think this would not trade that for the big city life. No, agreed. My wife would love to live further out in nature as well. I just told her when we were looking for places that we can move as far out as I can still get reasonable high-speed internet. That was my rule. I was like, we can go as far out as you want. I need my high-speed internet at the end of the day. So as long as I can keep that, I don't care how far out I am. Let's see. So that goes there. That goes there. And I think for the most part, we can probably just whack these two tests down here. We don't need that kind of garbage for this one, because I think this one's a simpler test. We have far fewer conditions. What do you do next year when she comes home with the Starlink? Yeah, I know. There is that risk. I don't know that I trust Starlink's, like, it does give good upload, and I will say my boss went on a trip through Africa where they drove from South Africa all the way north to Germany. And yes, it took months. It was not a quick trip. But they, like, he still managed to be on a strikingly large number of meeting calls with an okay-ish connection for video chat, despite the fact that he was sometimes in places where he had no business getting internet. That was interesting. I feel like it's too, like, most satellite based internet is always subjective around, weather affects you or otherwise. It's like, I want it. So yes, I have tried it, but only like I tried it very briefly when they were getting their stuff set up for their trip. Like, what was the thing? He was having me help him test something on one of the calls. Maybe I'm getting it maybe I'm misremembering this. Yeah. Yeah, and I think like most satellite stuff is weather affected, and it's like I feel like I want more reliability than that. My my small bias. So I like it. I like being able to have a hard line because I'm on cable internet now, and I find that to be much more reasonable. Okay. So what did I do? Last test. We're gonna come down here and go with last test. Change this to class. That goes there. That goes there. I don't need any of this. Let's see. I expect that. I expect that. I don't expect any of this. And I do expect a this guy here. And I expect a using statement at the top here. Yeah. I love my fiber. Yeah, I would not trade that. Yes, completely agree. I currently don't have the ability to get, because I think I have either 600 or 800 down, and I think 100 up. So I don't quite have gigabit, but right now the utility companies they are running new power, water, and fiber into the neighborhood, and they're burying all the lines. So right now there's lots of construction trucks up and down. So hopefully by the end of it, I will have the option of being able to upgrade it if I so desire. But I'm not holding my breath. I don't think that's going to be the right file name either. It shouldn't be. This should be class test attribute rather than property test, but I don't, I'm trying to remember what the generator does for the name. Class name, attribute name. So it's going to be that is what I expect because there's my class name. That goes there, that goes there, that goes there. Oh, I guess it was. Thank you, Copilot. You were right. When class attribute is applied, it generates class implementation. Yep. That is correct. Okay, let's go ahead and run this. I think it should be close. Already contains. Oh, I had it down here already. That is not where I want that. So I want that there, and I want you to be using it. And I want you to be using it. And you to be using it, and that now looks better. And for 65 USD, 1-to-1 and own IP, I think that's an okay price. Yes, I pay more than that for my internet, and I do not have a full 1 gigabit per second. So, yeah, I would take it. If you're saying 65 USD, like that's, I think I'm paying closer to 100 for mine. And I don't have, like, I have one provider that comes to my house. I have very little choice if I want a hard line, which is disappointing because my choice is the cable company for the hard line, or I have to do like cellular or satellite, and all of them are more expensive and less reliable. So those options aren't great. Okay, so that goes there. Pin you up again. Okay, so where did we go? So we failed to generate, which probably means a compilation error. This says property test generator, so that is wrong. Let's just hunt the word property. Are you in here anywhere? Yes, so that's part of the problem right there. That's part of the problem. That's part of the problem. Okay, so okay, let's try that again. So yeah, that was a bunch of. Have fun. I'll get my day started. You too, Society Dog. Thank you for dropping in. Always a pleasure. Okay, so I need to drop this, I believe is how I interpret that minus. Okay, and we have one extra generation error. So this is not something I enjoy doing, but you know what? I'm not going to deal with nullability at the moment. I'm just going to turn this off. I am just going to turn that off for the moment, and then we will deal with nullability when it comes, because I do want to, I'd love to have these generators generate based upon the project's nullability setting, which you can get. Like, I'd like that to be a default thing. There we go. But I think I want to handle that more holistically. Okay, cool. So that will work there. Oh, I meant to run all tests, not just the one. We're good. And we are good. Okay. We are going to take this. We are going to stage all. We are going to auto-gen the commit. We are going to send it. And I think it is slowly getting to be a much nicer little library. That is what we want. Okay, so basic stuff works there. I want to go through and check my to-do log and make sure I've covered some of these things, because yeah, shut up. Got it. Handle generation result. This is done. Close. Though I may have obsoleted the need for it. Target is nested class. Nullability of generated output. Both of those things are there. Let's see. Handle hint name with multiple generated files. That needs to be done. I feel like there was one other thing that I said that I didn't want to forget about. Oh, allow for generators to return diagnostics. Allow for generators to easily flag common failures. These would include the class generator being used on a non-partial class. Right, so that's a simple, easy one to go through and flag and do. And I think that, why does it say, there we go. Okay, and I think that is a reasonable to-do set of things to go through and handle. So, and then, add generator for iterating over assembly members. Let's see, handle common cases such as all classes, all types implementing an interface, all derived types. Frankly, I think those will probably hit most cases there. Because that'll be the other one that I want to have is a simple generator for iterating over an assembly and generating stuff based on that. Because I think that is the other key ones. Oh, I want types in a namespace. Because I think most of the time where I've seen generators being used over a collection of types, they've usually fallen into one of these 4 buckets. And so if I can make these 4 buckets easy, again, it's not expected to hit every case, but it is expected to make the common cases easy. And I think if I get that much going, if I get all of this done, this might just be V1 and send it. Trying to think if there's anything else that I would need to deal with. Yeah, target is a nested class. That's going to be a fun one on the output. But I think for the most part, I've left. Oh, that was the other one. Expose API to get at underline Roslyn types. I wonder if I actually want this though. I'm gonna leave this off. I don't know that I want it. I know I said last week that I wanted it, but I'm realizing it may actually cause more harm than good. Because in some ways, if you need to drop to that, it might be easier for me to just fix my API than to leave the escape hatch. I'm torn. I'm going to think on it. Well, everyone, thank you for coming and hanging out. Again, I thought this was fun. I'm enjoying this source generator project. Like this feels like a good library. I'm liking it. I want to build it. I want to make it better. Like this one excites me. So probably going to poke at this for a bit more. Hopefully I'll get more time to go through and work on things. But we will see. It is summer. My days are very full. I have lots of things coming down the pipe. But with that said, thank you for coming. As always, happy coding. See everyone next time.